Welcome to another Keel Hauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week I have none other than Captain Falcore joining me for the first time in quite a while to discuss the current state of the game since the second year anniversary, as well as diving into the current content. And, just diving into some of our thoughts about what could come to the game, some questions from you, all that and more in this week's episode of Keel Hauled Podcast. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time gabbing about stuff that we could chat about at any point. But I wanted to welcome you back. Do you remember the last time we got a chance to actually record?
Oh my God! It was before the lockdown. I know that much.
Yeah. So I haven't checked, but if you had to take a guess, what do you think?
Let's look at my calendar here. I'm gonna say a good 8 months.
Longer,
I reckon.
I'm
really.
I need to check, but I'm pretty sure that August was the last time that we recorded back in 2019.
Wow.
So
wow,
it's been over a year since we've actually sat down to actually chat. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
It doesn't, not at all.
It's so crazy.
2020 has just been horrible. Like, it's just literally taken up. You'd think you'd have more time on your hands.
Yeah,
with the whole lockdown and stuff. But no.
Yeah, I find myself just being more concerned about, do I have a Spaceballs, the mask, for going outside? Like, do I need to buy a Venom one, or do I have enough toilet paper? Is that a thing? Or should I just go out and get bananas and use the peels? I'm so confused. There's been a really interesting year, but I wanted to get you back on so many times, but especially with since the actual, like, I guess technically the second year anniversary, just so much has happened lore wise, and we've had a really good time kind of digging into it, and we've talked a lot online about this. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of dive into with you, since it's been a while, is how are you feeling overall about the story arc that we've been kind of given with the Tall Tale, with the Heart of Fire, and with the Ghost Fleets and Flameheart being in the game, and then how does that compare to like Ashen Winds versus now that we've got like the Gold Vaults? Like, how are you feeling overall with the overall arc of the game?
Well, the thing is, right, the momentum was going well, really, really good. We had Seabound Soul, which was fantastic, leading up to the whole release of Flameheart, and then Flameheart was released, and then we had Heart of Fire, where we learn a little bit more about, what's going on down in the depths and all that. And then we had the Ghost Ship event, so Flameheart's on the seas taking over. That was brilliant. And then we kind of just had like the Ashen Lords, and that was kind of it was good to see the Ashen Lords out there, but then it was kind of like, this is just another fort essentially. And then all of a sudden, like the Gold Hoarders. It just, I don't know what it is. I mean, I've loved it. I really have, but I feel like the momentum's been lost from all this, especially with the whole Gold Hoarder thing coming out. And I'm sure they're leading up to something with the Gold Hoarders. We don't know their full plan. They may be incorporating the Gold Hoarder thing into the whole skeletal curt. I don't know what they're doing, but it's lost its momentum, I think, the story arc, because it was ramping up so well.
Yeah,
it was ramping up so well, and I think it has a lot to do with the current climate situation with COVID and everything. It's very difficult for them to bring out content when they're not even in the office. But we know that the Flameheart event, the Ghost Ship, is going to be it's going to be a permanent feature within the game, and we know that the Ashen Lords are going to be a permanent feature within the game. So it leaves me wondering, like, does that mean that the whole Flameheart thing's done and dusted now? Did it all lead up to just the fact that they're essentially world events and that's it, over and done with?
It feels weird, right?
It's odd.
Yeah,
it feels weird,
really peculiar, because especially that's kind of why I wish that the Ashen Lords were just like a voyage that you could put down, so that it wasn't occupying like a world event, because it's cool that they made it into a huge world event, but at the same time, it really kind of chews up like what possible events are available right now, and if nobody wants to take the risk, it's kind of like having an open-ended Fort of the Damned. Like that thing it takes about as long as it does to kill Greymorrow in my mind. So going over there, it's like, all right, well, yeah, the gold, the reward is just not worth it compared to a Fort of the Damned, and both are going to have giant symbols in the sky. And I keep wondering, like, I was thinking about this the other day. I really wanted to understand, how did we get the Fort of the Damned? Like, I remember we got the event and Duke was there and he's all like, hey, Stitcher Jim's over on the island with Wanda, and they're checking it out, but they were still kind of under the guise of like, oh, this is weird. What's happening? How did this happen?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sitting back like, how did this happen? How did we get the Fort of the Damned? It just kind of appeared.
Yeah, from what I understand, from what I can understand from piecing stuff together, Stitcher Jim was obviously in control of these dark relics. He had some of them, and he was trying all sorts of different things. Maybe to release Flameheart. I think that was his intention, was to release Flameheart, and I think he because hang on now, the dark relics for the Seabound Soul appeared after, didn't they? Yeah, after the Fort of the Damned. And from what I can kind of understand is that he went to the fort, what was Old Boot Fort, and he put these dark relics down. I think what this is just complete speculation, but I think he was trying to summon forth Flameheart. He was trying to bring him from the Sea of the Damned, and something went wrong. I think I seem to remember there was a bit of text somewhere about there was an explosion or something. Like he was basically trying to open a rift, but what actually happened was it was like an explosion of the Sea of the Damned, and it sort of consumed the entire fort, and that's how the Fort of the Damned came up. But this is the thing, you see, that
strange.
there's no kind of, this is what I'm talking about with the momentum. Like, unless if they're thinking about plugging all these holes up later on and making us all sort of go, right, that makes sense, That's definitely something they could do and have done in the past. But it feels like it's kind of, sounds like I'm being horrible to developers. I'm really not, but it kind of feels like they're kind of, that'll do. Just put that in. No, that's fine. Just whack that in. We'll put a big plume there. Put some fire with it. Yeah, job done. Right, let's move on to the next one. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but that's what it feels like. From my perspective, it feels like it's sort of just all being thrown in, like amazing ideas that they've had being kind of, I don't want to use the term rushed, but that's kind of what it feels like. It feels a little bit rushed.
It doesn't feel cohesive like the events of the first year did. Like the first year, we had a trailer, we had hype and a lead up. There was a release. It went on for weeks, and then it was done. And we were kind of just like, okay, cool. Well, that was the event that we got. That was the thing. This, it definitely feels a lot more kind of disjointed. Like, what's ready at the moment? Legends of the Sea, cool. All right, well, let's put Legends of the Sea in now while we're working on year 2. And then year 2 is Emissaries, and it was like, cool, we got Emissaries, and we got a whole new faction. How does that tie into Flameheart? Well, it kind of ties in the sense that it's at Reaper's hideout, but Wanda's not there because Wanda's missing, and we've got Heart of the Flame. Heart of the Flame's ready? Okay, cool. Put out Heart of the Flame. So we did Heart of the Flame. And then Captain Flameheart kind of cropped up after that. And it's like, well, is this the intended outcome of Heart of the Flame? Because I imagine the next step of the Heart of the Flame should have been Ashen Winds with the Skeleton Lords. But where did the Ashen Lords come from? Like, how did who were those people that were brought into this world? Like, where did their souls come from? Because obviously they're still souls of some nature, whether they're skeleton or not, and they're cursed. But it seems like they were, see, that's the thing. I don't know if they were cursed because of objects or cursed because of like their hatred, like their burning hatred. So like I imagined after Heart of Fire, it was like, okay, well, the next logical step in my mind is to address what happened to Stitcher Jim, because
yeah.
obviously he did something with the Chest of Rage. That's the Ashen Lords. Like, cool, let's see that. And then we got this very, I want to say bare bones. I'm going to be 100% honest. It was very bare bones Ashen Winds update. Like, there wasn't any lore that I could find that really tied it to anything. It was like, are these Flameheart's people? Because he doesn't seem to really recognize them, considering he's a giant head in the sky. He could probably tell if there's a giant tornado going on, but they're never in the same time at the same place. You get a little bit of that Clark Kent Superman issue.
Yeah.
And it's like, who's in charge right now? Are the Ashen Lords in charge? Or is Captain Flameheart?
It's weird because like the only real lore we got for the Ashen Lords was kind of, a lot of it, well, I wouldn't say it's hidden, but it was kind of, you really had, like most things in Sea of Thieves, you really got to sort of look for it. But most of the lore was just in the flavor text on the websites. So it was telling you like old Horatio was old Horatio was the commander on the is it old Horatio? Yeah, old Horatio was the commander in the Seabound Soul Tall Tale.
Yeah.
And so you're like, all right, okay, that makes sense. But the thing is, it's like, surely they should have made that in old Horatio's sort of voice lines, like he should have said something like, I was the commander of the Ashen Dragon, and you can't put me back because I own the best ship in the whole world, or something, just to sort of make it tie in, not just for the people who really look and try and, but for everybody, so they kind of all go, oh, right, okay, that makes sense. Because there's still people out there, like, I see it in the YouTube comments, who seem to think that the Ashen Lords have absolutely nothing to do with Flameheart. They're just these whole separate entity that, exists outside of the current storyline. And they would be right to think that, because there's nothing that really links them together, unless if you've done the Tall Tale and you've looked at the Ashen Lord that's within the Seabound Soul, and it's kind of one of the biggest failings of the developers. I don't want to use the word failings, but the oversights. One of the biggest oversights of the developers is they tend to they do an amazing job at adding content to the game. Amazing visuals, amazing musical scores. Most of them are very, very fun indeed. I mean, I would say the Ghost Ship event was a lot more fun than the Ashen Winds, but they're all still kind of fun. But they don't do a very good job of like informing people about what it's all about, apart from on their websites, on Twitter, and any other type of social media. That stuff needs to be in the game, not outside of the game. It needs to be present within it, so people can read books and get the knowledge themselves. I mean, I know that puts me out of a job a little bit, because that's what my YouTube videos are about. But that's something they need to work on, I think. And I think that's there. Am I allowed to say? Yeah, I'm allowed to talk about mysterious notes, because that was in one of the update videos, wasn't it? And they're adding mysterious notes as a way to kind of like make these things more prevalent by just looking at things within the game. But even that, I think, needs to be a little bit more elaborate from what I saw in the trailer. I just wish they would have like NPCs actually talking about this stuff. I mean, when I say talking, I mean actually talking, not just little flavor texts. I mean, literally talk. It'd be great to go into a tavern and overhear like, is it Lassetti? Yeah, Lassetti just talk. No, not Lassetti. What am I on about? Lorena. Be great to actually overhear Lorena talking with the tavern lady, like talking about why she's there, rather than you actually going up and interacting with her. I mean, we've got Flameheart in the sky bellowing out his nonsense every 5.5 seconds, which is annoying everybody. He needs to be muted. So why can't we have Lorena just having a bit of a chat with the so everybody's like, oh, that's okay, now I understand. Didn't have to actually talk to her. Yeah.
It's funny because this was the same conversation that I had with Insipid Ghost a couple episodes back, where we were talking about the mysterious notes, and it literally came up where I was like, hey, there needs to be a bulletin board somewhere on every outpost that has a listing of every single new thing that's come to every update. So as soon as you walk up, it'll give you like, hey, go do a gold hoarder mission, because this gold hoarder mission just came out of the game. And every time you grab a note off that board, it's gone once you've done it. And that way, every person has their own note, and you can do multiple ones over and over and over again. But once it's off the bulletin board, you get it from the regular vendors that you normally would, or Lorena at that point. But same thing where it was like, hey, as soon as you spawn into the tavern, there's nothing going on in there. So why not
Mm.
have the tavern keep be like, "Hi, you come over here. You got to
Yeah.
hear what I just overheard from these drunk idiots that came in talking about a giant skull in the sky." And you're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
exactly.
okay, well, sure, yeah. What's going on with this giant skull in the sky?" And she gives you the lowdown on the Flameheart event. Like
Mm.
that kind of immersion is what's missing from
Mm.
trying to introduce new content. Otherwise, it's completely lost on people who aren't who aren't keeping up with all of the tweets and the website and the YouTube videos and streams and podcasts and stuff. Like it's outside of that. So I'm 100% there. I can totally understand where people would look at like Warden Chi and be like, well, this is the first major introduction of any kind of Asian influence outside of some small cosmetics for the Ashen Lord stuff that's come into the game. Are we going to get junkers? And the answer is like, no, we're not going to get junkers. It's like, oh, okay, well, why are we bringing this in now instead of holding on to it till when we can bring something that really kind of impacts the Asian pirate, the aesthetic, and really kind of ramp that up. Kind of jumping into some of the current update, I wanted to bring up, because we were talking about taverns. Duke the Dark Lord is now outside of the tavern. He's been sent off to Laguna Whispers, and I know you've checked out the flavor text and you're up to date on what's been going on with him. I am at this point under the assumption that he will end up at the Reaper's hideout, and that's going to be like he's going to have his own missions, and his own missions are going to be very geared towards driving engagement with Reaper's bones. So that's my perspective. How do you feel about Duke getting ousted?
Well, I think I'm sort of on the other side of that. I honestly do think Laguna Whispers is going to be another Reaper's hideout. I think it's going to slowly evolve over time, with Umbra and Duke being the center of it. I have a feeling that maybe not on like another faction, but maybe like a well, one of the biggest complaints a lot of people are having at the moment is the gold sink problem. There's nowhere to put any money. People with hundreds of millions of gold and nothing to do with it. And I have a feeling that the Lagoon of Whispers is going to turn into some like extra special store that you can buy amazing cosmetics from. And it's going to be this big sort of gold lined tavern full of gold, and you go over there and you've got some cosmetics for your ship that costs like tens of millions of gold, and it's where you flex. It's the flex island. I think that's the way I'm going with that. He does mention that he should have been a Reaper, but I don't know if he's sort of I think that's more of a defeatist statement rather than sort of a hint to what he might do. I think he's kind of like, should have just been a Reaper. What was the point in all this? I don't know. It could go either way. But then again, Duke and Umbra being like the leaders of a really, really expensive cosmetic shop doesn't really ring right as well, because they're both very non-materialistic, aren't they? They're very common. So I don't know. Just have to wait and see. But I think it is being built up. I think that's what they're getting at. They're going to build it up, make it bigger and bigger. But whatever that is going to be, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
I could see Duke opening up a second shop and offering different stuff. The thing that really surprises me is that it's clear from Lorena's perspective that Duke setting up a black market was kind of outside of what is the norm for bilge rats. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I have felt that most of the cosmetics that are in the black market should really be something that goes directly to the actual vendors on the outpost. That content should be bolstered in their shops, because I mean that's where most people go to buy cosmetics. Not too many people really dive into the black market archive, as far as I know. So once it goes out of style, it should be pushed out to the vendors. So it's strange to me that Lorena hasn't like disbanded the black market and chalked it up to Duke doing his own thing, and then given Duke the opportunity to have his own shop on Laguna Whispers or Reaper's Hideout or wherever he wants,
Yeah, yeah.
and then kind of reintroduce new content that's available from just him. And then that way you can have Lorena have like the new interesting stuff that she tells you about, but still kind of points you to the vendors. Because at this point, the vendors, once you bought everything from them, like they're pointless in the game. And that's kind of like a what's the point of having them if you're not going to utilize them? Like they're just wasted memory at that point. Kind of the same mentality behind like, you know, we had the Sea of Thieves event that's going on through September, and it's like one of them was to go do the skeleton thrones again, and it was like, well, good, because otherwise, you know, they're just hanging out there, and sure, they may not take up a lot of resources, and it might actually be more of a pain in the butt to rip them out than it is to keep them in, just because of how little they cost. But at least there's some reason to them with the event,
Hmm,
and
hmm.
I feel like that's something that definitely needs to be brought back to the
Yeah.
vendors on the outpost, because at this point I don't see a reason to do it, and until they give us supply crates that we can purchase supplies from for a gold sink, I don't see any way for them to do anything outside of cosmetics for getting rid of
Exactly.
gold.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that we were discussing a couple of live streams back with the rest of the community was um, one idea that I've had that the game needs to have. I think at this point, a lot of people are against it, but I think it's a great idea. Is to start introducing an RNG loot system for different events. So a very kind of MMO style system. So when they bring out like say for example the last sales that we had for the Ashen Winds, which was the sales with the skulls with the fire coming out.
Yeah.
You should be able to get those by default by doing accommodations. You can still have them, but they should also add to the Ashen Winds event a very very small chance that if you kill an Ashen Lord, he will drop or she will drop a an item which you can cash in to the shipwright, and if you do that, it will let you have a new type of cells, which is essentially a reskin version of the one that's already present, but it's a different color. So you've got like a blue, a green, a purple, and then you've got the red one, which you can get with commendations. Um, and because it's an item, it means people can steal it off you. So if you get that rare item, somebody can come along and steal that item off you and hand it into the shipwright. But add things like that, not just the Ashen Winds, but like to the Ghost Fleet event, to the Fort of the Damned, to the regular forts. And I think it would drive people, because myself, like I do forts now, but I have no actual reason to go and do them because I'm rolling in money. I don't need doubloons. I've done all accommodations for it. But the only reason I go and do forts is mainly because when I'm live streaming, people say, "Can you go do a fort?" So I'm like, "Well, there's nobody around to kill, so yeah, I'll go do a fort." But if I'm playing it by myself, I just wouldn't touch a fort anymore. There's no point. It's just a complete waste of time. But if there was an RNG system in place, so that if I had a very small chance of getting some bit of loot that would offer me a brand new figurehead, for example, that was very, very rare and it's got bragging rights, then I would be doing forts every single day to try and get that cosmetic. And I think that would be the same for everybody else as well, which would then drive more people together, make the world events more lucrative and people doing them more often, and people not thinking about how much gold you get out of the event. They'll be all there for the rare cosmetic, and
Yeah.
that's something I think the game really needs at this point
Having
to keep people playing.
something like that would definitely be a way to add replay value. I definitely
Hmm.
see the concerns behind RNG, just, you know, based on experience with MMOs in general, having stuff drop, have it not be the right one, having to feel
Yeah.
frustrated that you're constantly running it, and the percentage chances is either not working or you just have really bad RNG. But I definitely feel like they need to start abusing the costumes they've set up that system for. We've only gotten the Ruby Splashtail and the Shrouded Ghost Hunter, I think, since the Emissary, so 6 months, and we've only had two additions to the system, uh,
Mm.
not
Yeah.
including the original four that we got. And I feel like that's something should be added to the game. You know, if they add Ashen Lords, then put an Ashen Lord costume in the game and have it be something that unlocks after you kill an Ashen Lord and something drops and you head over to Lorena or Duke and you're like, hey, I found this. What's it good for? And they're like, oh, I think I know someone that could fashion a costume that would make you look like one of these guys and stuff. And,
Yeah.
really start kind of ramping up the idea of costumes. If that's something that they want to put into the game, commit to it and really start pumping out content for it. Give us a bunch of other costumes. Give us a Blackbeard costume. Give us a Davy Jones costume. Give us a Jack Sparrow costume. Start playing around with the concept. Give us a Legend of Zelda Wind Waker costume.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come up with some crazy stuff. Give us a Battletoads costume if you really want to. So
Yeah.
there's so much that I think I think people kind of always wonder, what do you and I tend to think would be cool coming to the game, stuff like this where it's just a reason to do it, and there's something else that's brought to the game that tries to incentivize us to value gold again, because
Yeah. Yeah.
without a gold sink like supplies or RNG based voyages or any number of things, just repairing your ship so it looks pretty at the shipwright. There's so many
Mm,
things that you could spend money on that we just don't have in the game yet. So I'm definitely
yeah.
looking forward to
Exactly.
something like that. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Pirates, it's time for the advertisements. These are the sponsors that are helping try and pay for the cost of the podcast. So, what I wanted to let you know about today, we have a new sponsor through audiblebooks.com. They do have an app on Android and iPhone. If you want to, you can sign up for first 3 audiobooks for free. That does include 2 VIP books. This is just like Audible, but it's through audiobooks.com. You get your first 3 audiobooks for free when you sign up for a month. After that first free month is over with, you will then have the $15 subscription that Audible charges as well. And you get to pick from the same type of library. They also have podcasts on there as well, too. So if you're looking to try it out, maybe listen to some books for free, maybe you have an Audible subscription and you just want to get some more content in, try out audiobooks.com. Use the link in the show notes to do so, and I get the credit for it. Also, make sure you're heading over to the show notes with the link for Green Man Gaming. If you purchase any games using the link that I give you, all of the purchases will cost the same as if you were just going to the website as usual, but I do get a commission off of that. It just helps to support me, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, which I really appreciate. Also, we have Loot Crate. Loot Crate is offering 15% off most of the crates and crate subscriptions if you use the link in the show notes, as well as the code RobotsRadio. That's it for the ads. Guys, thank you so much for listening. And again, if you have any questions, concerns, feel free to hit me up. I will try to get you any answers about these promotions as I can. Thanks. I did want to actually bring up the news because we actually have a lot of news going on this week.
Mhm.
This weekend is actually kind of awesome because not only it was an International Talk Like a Pirate Day, it's actually been the Golden Glory weekend, and you've been streaming a
Yeah.
lot to make sure that people have an opportunity. But this is the first time that the Ori set has been made available to people who aren't Game Pass Ultimate holders. I know back in, I think it was May, they had it. I think it was
Yeah.
April. Was it April and May? I think there was a little crossover there.
I think it was, in between. Yeah.
Yeah, you could get the Ori set. So now if you guys are listening to this, make sure you're heading over to Captain Falcore's Twitch channel and watching him for 30 minutes. The Twitch add-on that they did, or not even add-on, but the integration that they did for the drops now is so much better. Oh my god.
It is. Yeah.
I'm sure you probably still get a bunch of questions like, have I been here half an hour?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
haven't got it
yeah.
yet. And so I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll still have to deal with that. But at least for the intuitives out there, they can find the information and at least keep up with what their timing is. But
Exactly. Yeah.
how's that been? I saw today you had an amazing brig attack with getting there sniping the masts.
Yeah.
And then getting the kegs on board, like that was insane. How was that?
It was good. Although previous to that, because I'd spent the entire stream pretty much sinking everybody in my in my immediate vicinity, and I was doing so well. And then I don't know if you were watching at the point, but that started with me looking on the map and seeing a Reaper's chest on the map, and I could see somebody shuffling it around the outpost. So I was laughing. I was kind of like, these guys don't know where to hand in this Reaper's chest. So I was narrating it. I was looking on the map and I was kind of going, where is it? Oh, it's not going to the gold hoarders. Where's it going then? I don't know. I was narrating it. And so I went over. So I went over there and I went on my loudspeaker and told them where. So I said, guys, you need to go to Reaper's hideout to hand that in. And they did nothing because, most people don't listen to voice comms in a game, or they have any inability. So I stopped and I turned around and thought, you know what? I'm just going to go around and take it off them because I just, Sea of Thieves. So I turned around and went to take it off them and boarded the brigantine because it was on a brigantine. So there's 3 of them who didn't know where to hand in the Reaper's chest, bringing us back to the whole thing about, they should have things in the game to tell people what to do. Anyway. Yeah. So I grabbed the Reaper's chest off the ship, and then when I did, the guy got a couple of lucky sword swings in and killed me. I respawned on my ship, and he was about 6-8 years old, I would say, and he was spawn camping my ship. And because my confidence level was quite high, and I was like, these guys ain't going to be a problem at all, I kind of stood there trying to talk to him, but he just literally he wailed on me. I think he sword dashed me. Actually, he sword dashed me and then shot me in the back, and I died. And I didn't know that I had a few holes on my ship, so I sunk. So essentially, I got sunk by I got sunk by an 8-year-old, basically. So that that was quite humiliating in front of like 3,500 people. But and then I went back after it, and that was the point when I went back after it. And they came riding out the storm, and not only did they not know where to hand it in the Reaper's chest, they also had about 5 boom kegs stored below deck at the front of the ship, and it didn't end well for them.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that
was fun. But yeah, I've had a lot of people both times now because I've done 2 streams for the drops, and people just don't get it. They still don't understand. And quite frankly, if you can't understand it from all the information that's on the screen, all of the stuff that's been told on social networks, then I'm not going to tell you. It's not my job to hold your hand throughout all this. So if you can't figure it out, then tough.
Essentially,
right there in front of you.
You really kind of have to interrupt the flow of the stream. Like you really kind of have to be like, all right, well, did you check this? Yes. Okay. Well, did you check this? Yes. Are you sure you checked that? Did you check again on the? And it's like you have to kind of really interrupt it, and that ruins the experience for all the people that are like, we get it. There's drops. You just click on the thing already. So it's one of those tough times that I'm sure all those streamers that are streaming right now have to deal with it. But I'm glad that they're at least that Rare is doing something to incentivize folks to head over and support the stream and get some cosmetics as a result, and hopefully that helps translate into some retention for you, so that people kind of stick around and see how much fun it is to watch you guys play Sea of Thieves. I know this weekend has been pretty amazing because of International Talk Like a Pirate Day. We found out that Sea of Thieves has recently passed 15 million players, which I think is even a little bit higher than what they're I think they're lowballing it, honestly. And they're doing some sales, not livery sales, but actual discounts.
I
always got to clarify that. But they're doing discounts on Sea of Thieves on Steam and on the Windows Store. So if anyone's out there looking to play Sea of Thieves, you don't have the copy, maybe you're just on Game Pass, now's a great time to pick it up on the cheap. And if you're not even sure, like maybe you're listening to this podcast because someone was just out there and they're like, oh, Sea of Thieves, you should check it out, and you are on this weekend. It's actually free to play this weekend, which is really awesome. The one thing that I wanted to ask you is are you planning on picking up a PS5, and if so, how upset are you to find out that Sea of Thieves is not on there?
Yes, I'm planning on picking up PS5. I was going to get Xbox X, but then when I found out the majority of the games that are coming out for that are coming out on the PC, I was like, well, not much point in getting one. So Yeah, you're getting a PlayStation 5. Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed it's not coming out on the PlayStation 5, but that's Sony for you.
always
They don't want
trying
to play with anyone.
Yeah, trying to make things difficult. Yeah, no, I'm actually I'm probably going to pick up a Series X for my living room just so that I can have a nice 4K machine out there. And one of these days, I need to actually upgrade my whole PC system. The PC system itself is due for an overhaul, so I think I'm just going to build a brand new system and whenever the new cards are available, if the bit miners ever give up and decide to not scalp those with bots, we'll get back to those.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, it's funny because a lot of your content is streaming and on YouTube. Actually all of your content is basically streaming on YouTube, but we got a video from Sea of Thieves and it's 22 minutes of everything you need to know about Sea of Thieves. And I was really amazed to see this. And after watching it, I was like, wow, yeah, that actually touches on just about anything that you might need to know. The rest is all kind of like little bits and stuff like that. Are you upset that they kind of cribbed a lot of what your style is and are you just like, hey, I do this for a living. You could have told me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I literally had a video in the making. I mean, they didn't know this, but I had a video in the making that was literally exactly the same thing. And it was called Everything You Need to Know About Sea of Thieves, the updated version.
That's funny.
Because I realized that that's the only thing they've got on there, everything you need to know, but there's hardly anything in comparison to what you can do now.
Yeah.
So I had this video edited, partially edited, at about 15 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, the revenue I'm going to get from this baby!" And they bring it out. I'm like, and they literally edited it in a very, very similar way. Mine's more comical, but they've literally gone the same path with the stages of what they talk about. It's almost identical to mine. So I was like, god damn.
Well, I mean, at this point now you can just take that video and make a sardonic or a skeptic's version. Is like, they're like, you could go out and fish all you want and turn in your meat into the hunter's call, and just your video would be like, and you can go fishing where you will promptly be kegged because you can't look behind you. Or something to that, something to that extent. But I know you're smart. You're smart enough to work something out on that one. I was curious because this was something that was popping up on everywhere. Have you taken the sorting hat quiz for Sea of Thieves? And
yes, I have. Yep.
So what did you?
So I'm an Order of Souls.
You're an Order of Souls. Interesting.
Yeah,
interesting. I think Joe Neat was Order of Souls too, right?
I think so. Yeah.
It was kind of.
I mean, it's kind of fitting. Like I said on Twitter, seeker of knowledge kills anybody who gets in my path, and I look great in a dress. So
that's
it fits.
Definitely works out for sure. I ended up getting Merchant Alliance. It's funny because I don't even, as soon as it said Merchant Alliance, I just accepted it blank. I didn't even read into it or even wonder like what was going on. It's just like Merchant Alliance. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. I guess I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But really love this. So folks, if you don't know, you can actually head over to seaofthieves.com/pirate-quiz. And I think you have to be logged in. I don't know if you necessarily have to be logged in.
Yeah, I think you do.
Okay. So yeah.
Oh, no, for that you don't. I don't. Yeah, I think you can just do that by default. Yeah.
I'm going to say log in anyways, just for fun. Just to remember your password. But at this point, you can head over there, fill out 20 questions, and it will sort you into your proper house or trade company, and that's it's kind of cool. I thought this was a lot of fun to have something to do for kind of International Talk Like a Pirate Day. But the interesting thing was that they actually gave us the pirate profiles, which I usually expect this at the end of the year. I wasn't actually expecting this to be like now, so I was really surprised. Did you find any interesting information about like when you jumped on and saw like what you have done and
Yeah, I to be totally honest, I think there's something a little bit wrong with it. So I'll
okay.
tell you why. But first of all, it says that I've sunk almost 5,000 ships. I know I've sunk a lot of ships. I know I have, but I don't think I've sunk 5,000. I
Mm,
think it's definitely taking skeleton ships into account with along that.
I agree.
Secondly, secondly, it says that I've only killed 11 krakens, and I'm like, no, not a chance. I think I've at least in triple figures with krakens now.
Hmm.
I mean, you need 10 krakens just to get the sails and the cannons and all that. So it basically means I did that and then did one extra. So no, I think there's something definitely wrong there. The
Yeah.
other thing is it says that I've only sailed what was it? 7 million nautical miles or so, or meters, I think it was, not miles. Um, and I've definitely done more than that, definitely, because I
Yeah.
probably sail about, I'd say I'd sail in one live stream, which is only about 3 hours. I sail a good sort of 200, 300. So I've been doing that for, 20, 21 months. So,
Yeah,
and that's just live streaming. So,
that's got to be
um,
off because I'm at 12 million, and I know that you
mm,
spend a lot more. You get to spend a lot more time sailing than I do, so
mm,
that's definitely got to be
yeah,
off. It's so weird. Like it feels like some of these are just thrown into the random number generator and kind of went
yeah,
off that. Like,
yeah.
how many chests did you cash in? 18, 20? That doesn't. I know I've
Well, that's the
probably
thing.
turned
Yeah.
in more
Because
than that.
I know it's ridiculous because I mean it says it says I've sunk almost 5,000 ships, but I've only turned in 1,110 chests. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't make any sense. Because even if all those ship sinks were skeleton ships, that would mean 2 or 3 chests per skeleton ship. It's 3 times the amount. So yeah, it's very odd. It's very odd.
Yeah.
I don't know how it calculates. This is the thing. Chests might mean just captain's chests. You just don't know. You don't know how it calculates it.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
really weird. I like that there's numbers.
Mm,
I know I've seen some people that are like, well, I want to see how many ships I sunk that are just people ships. And I'm like, I don't know
mm,
if Rare's gonna do that. Like we just barely got a PvP faction. I don't know if they're wanting
yeah.
to really they've said in the past, I don't know, that might have changed, but they've said that they don't want numbers for pirates killed or ships sunk in that aspect because they don't want to
Yeah.
feel the desire to make your number higher kind of situation. So
Mm,
kind of interested
yeah.
to see where these numbers are coming from. But
Mm,
overall, I have to say the whole profile, the whole Sea of Thieves profile, is really cool because you get to check out your reputations, you get to see your achievements, you get to see your actual clothing chest. Here's what I want
mm,
though. I want all of this as a mobile app. And I want to be
mm,
able to tag certain achievements and like check box them. Just be like, hey, I want to do this. So when I get home
mm,
and I hop on, it pops up on the screen and is like, hey, this is what you checkboxed on the thing. Like, like queuing up
mm,
a program to install on your Xbox. Like I want to be able to log into the server and have it be like, oh, hey, this is what you wanted to work on tonight. Do you still want to do it? And it's like,
yeah.
yes. And it's like, cool.
Mhm. Yeah. That's cool.
Let me
Yeah.
keep that achievement on the screen there. So you're like, okay, well, I am, 515 ships out of 1,000 that I need to sink, or whatever you want it to be. And likewise with the
Yeah.
chest, it shows all your cosmetics, and that's cool. Make it into a mobile app and let me change my pirate's outfit. So when I log on, then I can sit there and be
Mhm.
like, all right, cool. Well, tonight I wanted to role play as, Link from Legend of Zelda Wind
Mm.
Waker. And I've got my
Yeah.
my costume on, and I don't have to go through and change out my outfit. It's already set there. And then if we're shooting for the stars here, give me the ability to have a loadout on the mobile app that lets me save like costumes and outfits and stuff. So that way, if I want to
Mhm.
swap real quick, then I just I hit that loadout on the app and it lets me do it, and then just tie it into the
Mhm.
website and into the game. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
what did you think?
These are things. Yeah. These are things that need to get done with the game. Like I think pretty much ASAP, because the game's got to a point now where there's so many people playing it, and it's becoming Sea of Thieves is becoming a very kind of it's almost breached that meme culture. It's got it's everywhere. Sea of Thieves is. I mean, it's on it's on the bloody KFC website.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
I was just like, Rare, you and me need to have a word. but yeah, it really is becoming a meme, and I think this is what they need to integrate things to make it easier for people not only to sort of share that not share their information like how many kills they've got and stuff, but they definitely need to make it so that people there's apps outside of the game that communicate with the game, so people can people can be in school, for example, and show their pirate to people, and then
Oh yeah.
This pirate's got a certain cosmetic on. They're like, hey, where'd you get that cosmetic? And it'll all show up on the app saying, this cosmetic was got from this commendation or whatever.
Yeah.
So people can then go into the game afterwards and go like, oh, I'm going to go for this tonight.
Yeah.
And that would again help with the whole thing. People finding out where to hand in a Reaper's chest, or an app like that would be perfect. And certainly a lot more used than Twitter or looking through countless YouTube videos.
It's funny.
So yeah, I agree with that.
We got something like because you keep bringing up the Reaper's chest, and I 100% agree with you. I've said for a long time that they need to have directions on where to take these things. It's funny because we actually got that with the Vault of the Ancients. We actually have the key has like, hey, idiot, take it to Kraken's Fall.
Yeah.
And then you get to Kraken's Fall, you're like, I don't know what to do. And then it's like, hey, read me. And you're like reading, and it's like, oh, we'll take it behind the blah, 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 blah. There's a little riddle on there. And it's like, yes, thank you. Yes, that is what you need on everything. If you don't know where to take it, then and you're just looking at it, and it's like, did you want a hint? Cold or warm? I could start giving you a place on, like have a direction on the map or something. Anything to let people know.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, actually, because the 8-year-old that sank me earlier on today, he sank me with one of the vault keys on the ship. And they went and sold the vault key to the gold hoarder.
Oh, man.
I was like, guys, you could have just gone to the vault. Like, why did you do that?
It is worth a lot, though. I was surprised when I turned in a gold key, and it was almost $8,000, and I was like, wait, what? That's okay. I'll take that. Yeah, that's a good steal item.
Yeah. No commendation for it, though. That's the thing. See, they should have put a commendation in there for selling the keys.
That kind of
this is a thing.
Comes back to the idea of like, if it's ready, they're putting it out, and there's not really a good. There's not a cohesive story behind why content's coming. It's just coming, and this is where I think everyone. I don't think I've talked to anyone that's like, nah, more content. I think everyone right now is basically like, you can pump the brakes just a little bit, and let's get some bug fixes in there. Let's take some time, let's kind of like, let's savor what we got right now. Like I love the gusto, I love the enthusiasm, but we really want to make sure things are just kind of like sitting well with people before we just toss another thing into the fire. With
I don't know, though. We could have an ice zone.
Right? Yeah. Just Devil's Roar. Have it freeze over. Boom. There you go. Ice zone. And you don't like volcanoes? No problem. They're going to turn into big slushy machines, and you're going to have nothing but snow flurries everywhere. And you're going to freeze, and you're going to have to use fire on your ship to keep warm so you don't like get locked up. And
use the fire bombs. Yeah. Perfect. There you go.
Smash them in your face.
Content. Yeah.
It'd be really funny. My goodness. There's so many other things that I wanted to jump into. I did want to at least just call out Golden Sands blog post. I'm gonna jump over this story, but he put out a really awesome kind of fantasy casting if Sea of Thieves was to be a movie, a Hollywood movie. I really love his casting for everyone. The one exception was the one that I added, which was just I want the ferryman as Liam Neeson. I think Liam Neeson would nail the ferryman.
Yeah. Oh, he would. Yeah. The only one I completely disagree with is I've actually forgotten the actor. Hang on, let me just pull it up. It was for
is it Penelope Cruz as Lacetti?
No. It was the Pirate Lord being
Rory
McCain. Rory McCain. I think it should be Brian Blessed. I think that's the perfect role for the Pirate Lord.
That is a good one.
I mean,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And you could even have it like, if he meets his son, he can be like, DeMarco's alive.
Yeah.
Fits in perfectly with the whole Gordon's alive type thing.
It really
perfect.
would.
Yeah,
That'd be a good one.
but I love all his other castings. It's fantastic. I mean, Woody Harrelson as Merrick. Like, I didn't see it before, but when I think about it, Woody Harrelson with the beard,
yeah,
it would fit so well.
It really would.
It would fit so well. And Nick Frost as Duke as well. Nick, that's perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely perfect.
Oscar Isaac as DeMarco is spot on for me as well too. It's so great.
Yeah.
I would say Andy Serkis would make a great Gold Hoarder. I would also love to see Alan Tudyk as the Gold Hoarder as well too. I think those two.
Alan Tudyk, which one? I can't remember who he is. What film was he in?
Firefly. He was
Oh
Wash.
yes.
He does all the voices for
perfect.
stuff. And he's just he's in every animated thing at this point, but he's a great character actor, even if it's the weird noises. Love to see that. But again, Golden Sands blog post, you guys nailed it with this. I absolutely had a blast fantasizing about this Sea of Thieves movie that could come. I wanted to jump into, because I reached out to my Discord today and just wanted to jump into some of the questions that I had for the community. The first one was actually an email, and wanted to kind of know the inception or the story behind the bald lady on Crook's Hollow. Do you want to dive into what you know about that?
Well, one of the biggest questions I get asked pretty much every stream and pretty much in every YouTube video is it real? And my answer to that question is, the video that I put out and everything that you saw in that video is 100% real. Is there actually a ghost on Crook's Hollow? That I cannot confirm, because at the end of the day, it could have just been someone messing with me. You know what I mean? So I can't say that it's definitely haunted. But one of the biggest arguments that I give to people is that I've been wanting an Easter egg in this game for God knows how long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say wanting an Easter egg. Just like everybody else who plays the game, it would be amazing to have an Easter egg in it.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, I put up, not shortly, about a month after I put out that Bold Lady video, and then Joe Neat did a thing at the end of his monthly podcast type thing, joking about the Bold Lady, and there was a flash of her in the screen, and it was all. But then they actually have at 12 a.m. every night in the game right now. There's very, very spooky noises that happen at exactly 12 a.m. in the game on Crook's Hollow that kind of emanate from where the areas were that was in my video. And I keep on saying to people, if I've been waiting for a Easter egg in this game for God knows how long, if that was because of my doing, then I would be bigging that up. I'd be like, finally, I've got an Easter egg in the game. Like, this is it. I've finally done it. And I know that it's not, although I may have contributed to it with the video, I know it's not something that I've elaborated from my own imagination. It's something that actually did happen. Whether or not that's somebody taking, I mean, it could, at the end of the day, it could very, very easily be Joe Neats playing with me. You know what I mean? He could have got into his dev console and thought, I'm going to mess with Falcore today,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something. And as well, another thing I wanted to point out is that happened at Halloween last year, just before the Halloween update. I think it was the festival of the it was before Fort of the Damned. It happened.
Yeah, it was the festival,
and Halloween is just around the corner. Yeah, Halloween's just around the corner now, and I think something else is going to happen at Crook's Hollow. That's what I'm hoping for, anyway.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm hoping there's something else. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, definitely a very scary experience that still to this day, when I go to Crook's Hollow, I am very wary of what's going on there. Little bit spooked every time I'm on there, especially at nighttime with all those weird noises. But yeah,
like that's
all the information I can give, really.
Every good ghost story, there's an element of truth that always leaves you wondering if there's something that's possible.
Exactly.
That just doesn't have an easy explanation to dive into. First mate Surly John in the Discord wanted to know why you're not a believer in the shrouded ghost.
The what? Sorry, what's that?
I mean, at this point, I think they're just talking about stuff on the insiders, and apparently we're going to be getting a ghost sheet costume for Halloween. But That's my guess. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but I figured I'd at least give him credit. If Chateau Neuf wanted to know if there was something that you could add to the game if you had the power, what would you add?
Oh my god, that's a question. Like, you don't want to. I tell you what, the developers don't want to let me loose on this game because I would have some weird shit in this game. Let me tell you, it'd be the weirdest place. One thing. It's very difficult to nail something down because I've got so many great ideas, but nothing that I could really say is my favorite idea. I would say more weather effects for sure. I would like to see a rogue wave like from Assassin's Creed where you have to turn your ship otherwise it will capsize. A maelstrom, just things like that, like different types of weather. So like I know we've got fog and we've got the storm, but I want to see sleet and other types of things that just keep you on your toes whilst you're sailing. Some things that are detrimental, but other things that are a benefit as well. So say, for example, some of the time the sun can shine really, really bright and the waves calm down. So you're in still water, which means you can go faster for that short amount of time. Just stuff like that.
That'd be cool.
All right. Yeah, I think that would probably be my favorite thing. Yeah.
What has kept you on Sea of Thieves rather than moving on to another game?
That's one of those things that I can't answer. It's like, I don't have an answer for that. It's just, I think it's just because it's a sandbox game and there's no direction. You just jump in. It's like a canvas, isn't it? You paint your own story. And it's a very cliche thing to say that, paint your own story, because you're not really painting a story. You're just, falling off your ship and screaming at megalodons for spawning on you. It's not really a story, but you're just having a good time. You don't have to worry about what your stats are doing or what other people might think about what you're doing at the moment. You can just go on a rowboat adventure, or you can just fight yourself out of the cannon trying to hit a certain spot on the island. Just do whatever you want. There's nothing. The game doesn't hold you back. I think that's what it is, and I think it's as well being a streamer. It's a very good game to stream because there's moments of silence, the organic nature of it. There's moments of silence where you can just chat with the people who are watching, and then there's intense moments where there's a PvP, a battle occurs, or some PvE encounter happens. I think that's it. It's literally just open ended, and that's it's not just Sea of Thieves that is like that. There's loads of games, but I've always loved games like that. So yeah, that's the answer to that. I suppose.
Basically, you're Bob Ross of Sea of Thieves. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
People's Republic wrote in. He said, continued thoughts on the renewed focus on ancients and mermaids and how they will play a narrative role in the continued resurgence of Flameheart going into 2021 and beyond. This is something that I'm curious about because with the gold vaults, we got the chest of ancient tributes, and as far as I've seen, there's not really much that ties to giving us more information about the ancients, but it's clear that it's something I want to know. And this is something I haven't found out about, but I want to know if this is something that the gold hoarders knew about, or they just threw their chest and gold in there and didn't pay attention to the medallions, or did they know?
Yeah. See, this is it. Yeah. This is again, they did not put much, lore into it. You know what I mean? They could have done so much with this update, and it's a great update. Honestly, I love the Vaults update. It's I would say it's a lot better than the Ashen Lords.
Yeah,
it's more it's more fun doing this, and certainly a much better payout. But yeah, I just don't know. Like the mere fact that it's hidden behind some huge clue system kind of speaks volumes to me. It's like they don't want anybody finding that. They've hidden it within a vault, which you have to find a key for. And then within the vault, there's another mini vault where you find this thing. I just don't understand how you can sell it back to them, but still, that's something else to cover. But still,
yeah,
they're not kind of like, hey, where'd you get this from? Yeah, I do think it's something that the gold hoarders have known about.
Really?
Maybe not known about it. Maybe they're trying to figure it out as well. I think it's something that the gold hoarder himself or Rathbone knew about. My thinking is that they after the gold hoarder was defeated, or so we think. They went inside his lair and they grabbed all of the stuff, put it in the ships to bring it back to these vaults. And then they found all of these ancient tribute chests, and they're like, what the hell are these? Like, well, we'll just take them with us and we'll sort it out,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. I think they're kind of like, they're stashing them and they're just like, we don't know what they are, but I'm sure if the gold hoarders ever return, he'll explain it to us, type thing.
All right.
But one thing that I'm starting to think is that the whole gold hoarder symbol, the key and all that, I always thought it was something that the gold hoarder sort of graffitied in the Shores of Gold. But I'm starting to wonder, especially with the fact that you've got the gold hoarder key, which is obviously ancient in construction because it opens the whole vault system. I'm starting to wonder if the gold hoarder key was the original symbol for the ancients. And the gold hoarders have adopted it because they found it in the Shores of Gold. They're like, this is a cool symbol, we'll use it for us.
You don't think that it ties more to the gold keys that Ramses crafted for the chests? Because that was always my impression, was that.
Yeah, see, this is the thing, is that but where did he get that idea from? You know what I mean? Like, what he does spawn in the Shores of Gold, and he only spawns in areas where he can spawn next to his ship, and he can spawn next to the Athena's Fortune. He can't just go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, he's got some sort of tie to that room. Maybe he's got a tie to Rathbone because he was a crew member. But I don't know. I think there's more about that throne, and there's more about that whole area than we know so far. I think there's a lot more to it.
I always just thought that he was just a cheeky, lazy bum, and just was like, I guess I'll pop out for this one public event and say a couple a couple fancy things here and there, and then I'll get paid later on, and I'll just go back to the tavern.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's working on a novel, and someone's all like, "Hey, someone just defeated the Gold Hoarder. You might want to go say something." He's like, "Do I have to? Is this important?"
Yeah.
They're like, "It's kind of important." All right, cool. I'll pop over real quick, and can I say the same thing I said last time? Would that work? Is that fine?
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Just the script. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we'll just go. I got it verbatim. It's cool. Let's go. Just roll.
Yeah.
So
what you don't see is when you're listening to the Pirate Lord, nobody ever looks behind them, because if you do look behind them, there's actually a tannoy up there, and it's really there's a camera crew and everything. Like, great Pirate Lord, love you, brilliant, lovely.
Just a turtle in a cloud with a fishing pole and a camera that no one notices.
Yeah.
The one thing that I wanted to touch on, because I actually think that this is kind of popping in, and I think this will be the last question. Big Bad Pad wrote in and has the same idea that I do, is with Rare adding new voyages to the Gold Hoarders with the treasure vaults and Order of Souls with the skeleton fleets. Do you think that we're going to be getting a new merchant alliance to round out the three? Because I do.
Well, yeah, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're. I mean, it's weird because essentially we have had a merchant update, but that I wouldn't really call that an update. That was more kind of like, Rare.
Yeah.
Merchant quests suck. Like, we need something better.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're doing. More interestingly is the fact that if they're doing Order of Souls and Gold Hoarder, and they're going to move on to merchant, and if they do merchant, that means the only faction left to elaborate on is the Athena's Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And that could mean an entire expansion to Endgame. And also, maybe one day we will see that pirate ship coming out of the waterfall in the Pirate Legends Tavern.
Don't tempt me,
Hopefully,
Frodo.
we'll see.
Don't tempt me.
Hopefully, we'll see. But I wonder what the merchant would be. I'm trying to think what they would do to update the merchants. It's like, what could you do? Like,
you want to know my thoughts?
Go for it.
I think that this is how we're going to get the Grand Maritime Union introduced into Sea of Thieves.
Okay.
I think we're going to get an opposing faction, and it's going to have to be one of those like bank heist things. It's a smash and grab, like Grand Maritime Union's here. They've got a whole bunch of supplies that they took from another pirate, or they're taking from the islands, and they're trying to export it from the Sea of Thieves. You got to go out there and you got to stop them, and you got to get as much as of the merchant stuff as you can, and then bring it back to me, because that's going to be our stores kind of thing. That's my quick, like, if I had to throw something into the game that would be a little more exciting for Merchant Alliance, I think throwing the Grand Maritime Union is going to be the way to do that.
It would certainly make merchants go from being absolute boredom to something that's quite exciting. So yeah, I could definitely see something like that. Or to make it a little bit more simpler, they could have shipwrecks around the Shroud. So it's maritime unions that have attempted to come into the Sea of Thieves, but they sank. And we've got to go out there and get merchant loot from them.
That'd be cool too.
To hand that back in.
Yeah. Or you could even have even like, it's a 50-50, some of them make it in, some of them don't. Some of the ones that do make it in, the Merchant Alliance is commissioning you to go and sink them to stop them, and whatever they've got on there, then you can turn in. They got maps. Say they've got trade routes, and they've got knowledge, in their ledgers and whatnot. You can bring that information back to the merchants, and it's like, cool. Not only did you stop the Grand Maritime Union if they didn't get sunk by the Shroud, then you also add trade routes to the knowledge base of the Merchant Alliance, and I would love something like that. Rare, do that.
Yeah, do that. And for the love of God, please update Athena's Tavern, please.
Yes. There's
been too long.
Yeah, it needs something.
Yeah,
we need to get some spruce up there. I'm looking forward to Halloween just to see if we get some more gourds and squashes and stuff thrown about.
Yeah,
because that's always fun.
Yeah.
Falcore, thank you so much for joining me. I know,
no worries, my dude.
I know that it's been a long time coming. I keep wanting to have you on, but I know you're always super busy, and I always try to match it up. But
things will be better once we've moved. It's just been this has been going on now for 4.5 months.
Oh my God.
It's once we get moved, there's going to be a much more stress-free Falcore roaming the sea. So,
good.
So yeah, things will be easier.
Glad to hear it. Well, if people probably know who you are and where they can go to get your awesome content, but let's just play in this world with me, and let's just imagine a fantastic world where Sea of Thieves fans are just listening to this and they're like, who's Captain Falcore? Let them know, where can they get your content?
Yeah, okay. You can find me at YouTube, Captain Falcore, of course. You'll also find me at Twitch, Captain Falcore, of course. And I'm well known for completely destroying the lore in the game. No, I'm well known for delving into the lore of the game and speculating on things that possibly nobody else would speculate on. And in my Twitch time, I'm mostly just riding around sinking people, to be totally honest. Having fun at other people's expense. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's where you can find me. Or you can find me on Twitter, where I just, post memes. It's great.
And they're great too. If you guys haven't been following, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, dude. I can't thank you enough for joining me. I love our conversation. No worries, so I'm looking forward to seeing
me too
next time we get a chance to jump in together. And I will let you go.
Thank you very much, my dude. It's been an honor as always.
All right, Pirates, that's going to do it for this episode of Keelhauled. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation with Captain Falcore. And I did want to shout out Desert Fox, Todd Robertson, Jaxert, Liam, Donnie, Andrew. Thank you guys all for sending in your emails. We're going to hold on to those for the next episode, when hopefully there's a little more time to dive into your guys' feedback. I did see the questions and the stories, so I want to get those in next time when we have an opportunity to do so. Until then, keep an eye on the horizon. Make sure you guys are following me over on Twitter at CAPT_LOGUN. Keeping an eye out for the streams when I do go live at twitch.tv/CAPT_LOGUN. And make sure you join up on the Discord. Say hi to me as well as the rest of the Keelhauled community, and look for some pirates to sail with, as well as check out some of the other content that's going on there. If you want to be like some of the people that sent me emails in and get on the podcast, you can do so at CAPTLOGUN@gmail.com. Pirates, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you. I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Hey there, my name's Jameson, or Big Cat.
And I am Brenna, or Mother Goose.
And together, we are the hosts of the DL, Weekly Gaming News.
Each week, we bring you the top stories from last week, as well as something you might have missed.
Our goal is to start a conversation about what's going on in the world of gaming.
And every week, we have a special guest join us in the chat room, where we discuss a different gamer-related topic and learn more about our guests in the 60-second download.
And if that isn't enough, we also have Slim Jims.
So come and hang out with us every week and join in on the conversation.
Good luck and have fun, everybody.
And remember, keep your goose loose.
Hey!
Hi!
Do you enjoy being optimistic about bad movies?
Or do you enjoy at least trying to figure out where someone worked really hard on a bad movie?
Well, we've got the podcast for you. New to Robots Radio, we represent Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
Each week, we look at 2 movies that did really badly critically, but we try to find the good in them.
And we have segments such as What Could Have Saved It, and Would You Watch It Again?
If you're there on a Saturday night, you want to watch a bad movie, but you're not sure if it's like good bad, or if you should even bother, give us a listen.
You can find us on Robots Radio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you listen to podcasts.
Please come and say hi. We love you already.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.